folks that are still joining the Teams. So I'm trying to get them over into Google Meet. So just FYI for that. All right, so I see some new names in the participant list today. So let me introduce myself. I'm Yvonne Denome, and I'm the Title I, and I have been deemed the CARES Act manager as well. I'm part of a very small but mighty CARES Act grants team. And so I want to make sure the other members of our team introduce themselves this morning. Jerome, I see you joined the call. Would you please enter in and introduce yourself?
That's how you doing. My name is Jerome McCray. I'm the new Grants Management Analyst in Budget Services.
And Jerome, do you have any updates for us this morning?
No, not right now, but I will be contacting you again about the update for the nutrition grant set aside.
Okay, perfect. Thanks, Jerome. I appreciate that. I am looking, is anyone from the financial services on the call today? I don't think they have joined yet, but they will. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with updates because I know you guys are extremely busy. So thank you for taking time away from your busy schedule to be here this morning. So I have had a number of questions come in. We know that this is a very busy time with staffing. And so I have actually had about 5 schools reach out to me just this week and ask about whether or not the CARES Act hourly or technical can carry forward for next school year to fund benefited positions. And so I want to let you know that unfortunately you cannot do that. Even though the funds will carry over into next year, the United States Department of Education, Congress, more so, has been very explicit on how these funds can be utilized. And so the Virginia Department of Ed has created an application, or we have created the application that has gone across to the Virginia Department of Ed aligned with the allowable uses of CARES Act. And so because our application is approved by VDOE for CARES Act hourly, CARES Act technical, and PPE for the school portion of those allocations, that funding must remain in those cost centers or commitment and must continue to be spent in the same manner for the next school year. So please know, I've also been asked about an end date, and I've actually gotten a few emails from principals who have said, all right, this says FY22, but what's the end date? And so I just want to let you know that the guidance that has been put out to date still says it's carrying over into FY22. There has not been a definitive date established yet, and I don't believe a definitive date will be established till probably October or November. In full transparency, I mentioned in the last CARES Act office hours that the United States Department of Ed and the Virginia Department of Education has stipulated that divisions cannot claim reimbursement against the ESSER 2 funding or now the ESSER 3 funding until the ESSER 1 funding has been exhausted. And it's my understanding that as of today, that there is, of the 21 million, there is about 9 million that hasn't been expended, and 6 of that is at the school level. So please know we want you, we need you to expend these funds. We want you to use them in the way that they are intended, but we do ask that you plan forward for using the funds into the fall as quickly as possible. I have also have another question, and actually this has come to me a couple of times as well. And the question was, I have an employee who worked hourly technical, charged cares for March. Some of the hours for March posted in March, and some of the March hours posted on the April CARES FMR, depending upon the payroll timelines. Can I reuse the same FS 174, or do I need 2 separate FS 174s? Please, guys, use the same SF 174 for auditing purposes. And that's going to be my next update. For auditing purposes, we need all the documentation to be the same. So please use those FS 174s when they cross over those pay periods. Sandy, I see you joined. So what update, I'm going to pause, and what updates might you have from your side of the house?
I really, at this point, please know that we're trying to follow up with schools to get documentation and to get documentation in files. Because again, we're trying to seek reimbursement, and we can't do that if we don't have proper documentation. And we do still have some schools that don't have any documentation.
That is correct.
And I want you guys to know that we don't want to have to get our principals and the region assistant superintendents involved, but that's our next step, is to email your principals, and your region assistant superintendents will be on those emails to let them know, because it's not that we're trying to get you in trouble. We're trying to work with you to get the information. And now that teachers are working and people are back, we really need the proper documentation. And if we're telling you to move expenditures or to do things out of the accounts or to make corrections, we kind of are running out of time, because we can't move expenditures past June for last year. So once the expenditures hit, if they hit in June, you can't move expenditures unless they're July expenditures.
And Sandy, I'm gonna that ties into my next update. So not only are we working on the BDOE reimbursement, and as if we weren't already busy enough, external auditors are reviewing CARES Act. And so on Monday, the audit kicked off. Tuesday, I received a request for information. And I want everyone to know that the auditors are looking, their compliance requirements that they're looking at are allowable activities within the grant, that the items meet the allowable cost principles, that equipment and real management is inventoried, and that we have all payroll and supporting documents. And so when Sandy is saying, and I'm still sending out emails to schools saying, I need these documents or I can't find the documents, please know I'm starting to put in your emails that I need immediate attention. So we ask you to have everything in the folders. And Sandy, I'm going to be transparent. What I'm finding is it's the schools that are not attending the office hours that
Yep.
we're having to request the information for, right? And so I don't know how we might partner together, but now that the auditors are requesting payroll and they are specifically looking for payroll for September 2020 and February 2020. And so my team is, we've got to provide that. I have to have it to them by Tuesday. And so
Well,
when I
think
do,
what we need to do is if you don't have it and you've reached out to the analyst, we need to send an email right away to the principals. And
Okay.
we need to let and get the region involved. I don't know any other way to do it because we have been following up with your schools that you're sending emails for. So I think we've got the processes in place.
right.
We've just gotta we have to make them understand the importance.
So just so you know, I am 90% done with verifying staffing. So I'm working on that last 10% of that reconciliation. But the auditors on Tuesday, once I send across the spreadsheet with payroll, they are then going to select and do their tests, right? And so what I need to be able to do is to go to those school folders, pull the information they need so I can quickly send it across to Liz so that it gets uploaded for the auditors to see, right? We can't have days of gap time. That'll definitely be problematic. So again, guys, we talked about before about a sense of urgency, and if we reached out to you that it wasn't a gotcha, but in full disclosure, we were not anticipating the auditors now, and they're here, and we're going to make the best of it. So I'm just going to thank you in advance because we are going to need your support. And I know that we're only focused through September 2020. I also want you to know that our team is not only are we finishing up the November through February, but our team has now also extracted March through April FMR. And as soon as this last 10% is done, I have to start verifying hourly for March and April. So what I will name is that in verifying hourly for December through February, I'm able to see who's doing the ESSER reconciliation reports. And so what I'm going to ask is, as of March, your ESSER reconciliation reports were due in your school folder. So if you haven't done your March and April ESSER reconciliation reports, please know that it's my hope by next week that I'm going to start that reconciliation towards the March and April reimbursement. That FMR is cleaned and it is ready to go. And so the auditors are also looking at not only timely expenditures, but they're also looking at reimbursement and what that timeline is. And because of the various grants that we have in the school division, we had to delay the reimbursement process for VDOE, but it's now May, and the expectation to get the reimbursements in is paramount. Know that we cannot submit for reimbursement until we have the information from our schools and all the level of detail that we need. So I just want to say thank you in advance and explain the why, so that you understand that this is not a gotcha on you, but the why is there are some additional supports and compliance and reimbursement processes that we have to follow and move along a little more quickly now. Sandy, any additional updates for your team?
Yvonne, I have just to clarify, for note-taking purposes,
Sure.
I'd like to make sure that all the things that you listed in terms of the single audit update, that they are looking at allowable activities. And can you just repeat what you said? You said reimbursements, payroll, inventory, cost principles, allowable expenditures. Can you just repeat that so I make sure that I captured it in the notes? Thank you.
Yeah, the only one that I didn't say, Lisa, that I will say now is subrecipient monitoring, and that's the private school piece. And I'm responsible for that too. So Jessica Worrell, who is also on this call, has got that under control. Sandy, what I do want you to know as far as the ESSER, the CARES Act reconciliation reports, at least for our grant, is that when we pulled all of our reconciliation reports going back to July, that not only are is it pulling ESSER, but it's pulling the 5 GEAR grants as well. Were you aware of that?
No, the 5, what 5? Oh, all their other grants?
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's
So-
not pulling it into what's in ESSER. It's
Yeah.
separate, right?
No, it's in, but that's okay. I just want you to be aware that our reconciliation report for the private schools is
Gotcha.
going to have ESSER 1. It's going to have facilities, cleaning, SPED, vision, and nutrition all in one.
So you've got it all. I do want to make a comment on the FMR reconciliation for CARES, because you talked about wanting to have April. April, per our schedule for FMR reconciliations, the month of April reconciliation is not due until the end of May. So we're halfway there, but that is not even it was available for them to start looking at April's on May 5th, but it's not final due until May 28th.
Oh, okay. So
Just so you know, that's what we have a schedule of when they've got to do their FMRs, when they're supposed to be completed, signed, and in our FMR application. So everything else should be done, but the April is the one that we're still got a few days left.
So Sandy, would it make sense then that for the VDOE reimbursement that we submit March and April separately?
Yeah, to me it would. I mean, unless I'm sure you want to get that piece of it done. I know how hard is it for you to separate it out?
We'll do it. The other thing is if you're saying it's not due until May 28th, we could just make sure that, we
Yeah, you
begin
can
that.
see what you have because it's available for them to print. They could be doing it because it was available. So the month of April, month end close was May 4th. And then May 5th is when it became available, and reconciliation has to be totally completed for all of their reconciliations to include CARES by the 28th. So a
Okay.
lot of them have probably got it done. So we
Okay.
could ask schools to, hey, if you can, and we'll see what's missing. Maybe that's where we need to be. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. And so to Tasha's point, she says, is the April CARES reconciliation due at the end of May like our other FMRs, or is there a different due date? So Sandy, the expectation is it's May 28th, correct? At the
Yep.
latest. Okay. All right. So then Sandy, our VDOE reimbursement process will follow that same timeline.
Okay. I just think it makes sense. When we rewrote the directions, when we had them do the reconciliation, we referred to the online application and what they did and said it had to match what we had. So
Okay. All right. All right. Well,
sorry,
well, no, I mean, it makes sense. So, I mean, I've already exported out the March, April FMR and it's cleaned. Heidi was going to begin setting it up for the way the VDOE format has to be. And then I already have the Kobe 1 for March and April. Actually, so we're getting there, right?
it's a work in progress, right?
Yes. Yeah, and to Sandy Goodwin's point, she's working on March, lots of interruptions this week. I get it. I would have had my 10% hourly done if the auditors hadn't miraculously appeared. But generating what I need for the auditors is actually slowing me down. And I'm still working with Title I. So this is our busy time of the year. I'm doing staffing for Title I. And our schools are making a mad dash to spend their funds. And I'm still approving all those orders. So yeah, it's a lot. Sandy, I can relate.
I know it's like we're inundated, but you know what? We're everybody's doing the best job they can, and
Yes.
everybody's working hard under crazy circumstances. And who knew we'd have a gas shortage in the midst of all this? Go figure.
I'm telling you, it has been it's been an interesting year and a half, to say the least.
It has, but you know what? We'll make it. We are. It's just key to do the best we can, and we will work with schools. We're trying to make sure you have what you need, and we appreciate. We know how busy you are. We just want you to know that we want to get it off your plate because we need to have the information so it's off all of our plates.
Absolutely. So Sandy, I'm going to be transparent about something else because I see I've now had 2 questions about the T-Spec and the collection of devices. So I do see both of those finance texts on the call. So I'm going to be transparent that we have a meeting this afternoon to talk about the laptop recollection. And that meeting is at 3:30 today. So what I'll do is I will put an update in the CARES Act office hours. If we have a definitive answer, I will respond to the team. But I want to be transparent that the T-Specs might have been given some information that we're investigating and discussing later today about laptop recollection. So please stay tuned on an update either later today in the CARES Act office hour Q&A, or definitely for next Thursday's CARES Act office hours update. So I am anticipating that question. Yes, Kathleen, there have been some questions, and we are investigating and have a meeting as a follow-up. So also I see.
And that's kind of different from the technology with their laptops and their cords and all really is not pertaining to CARES Act at all.
Right.
So that piece of it, just so you know, Kathleen, is that if they've lost something, you would collect the money at the school, much like we do lost and damaged textbooks, and then you would replace it. So if they lost it, and I believe in the manual for the laptops, the whole FCPS on, there's a cost for how much. But if you're going to replace the laptop, you can ask them to pay for replacement if they've lost something. But the money resides at the school because you have to get a new laptop to replace the old one that was lost. And the same for cords and stuff.
So Sandy, I don't want to poke So I don't want to poke a bear, but I want to ask a follow-up question to that. So we do know that there were a lot of devices that were purchased with CARES funds for like the FCPS on, or was that through the rental? But it was my understanding that
I didn't think it was through CARES. It was through your funding, not the CARES ESSER.
No, I want to say those laptops, they were moved from ESSER to the CRF.
Yeah, I don't believe that they were with ESSER one fund.
Okay, all right. I just wanted to confirm that. Okay, all right. So we're good then.
Yep.
Okay.
But we can work with you. If you've got questions, you can contact the team. You can email me, but yeah, they can do an MSB store. The problem is it's only for specific people who have lost stuff. So doing an MSB store is a little tricky. So Kathleen, I'm going to ask you to probably contact us kind of offline, because doing it through MSB, because only specific people have lost stuff, is how do you keep other people from going in, and people get all confused with MSB and paying for stuff. So we've got to look at how that would be set up. Okay, thanks, Kathleen.
All right, other questions that you may have?
Here you go, Sandy.
Hey, there's my my buddy
Cindy
Jackson.
knows she can ask me anything and I'm going to do it. Jackson.
It's time for my favorite question. Since CARES money is rolling over, do we need to do anything with accruals at year end?
You do if you've got a monthly paid employee who's working in June that will be paid in July.
For CARES?
For CARES, if it's a monthly paid employee that's being paid hourly, right? And they're working in June, but they're going to get paid in July. It's like any other accrual that you do. And we
Is there
have
anything special?
included, you have to use your internal order number.
Okay, so we would fill out 2 different sheets, one accrual.
Nope, we redid the sheet and sent it back out and updated it with an internal order number column. And
Okay.
then you fill it in the carry application.
Mhm.
And you use that internal order number for your school that's so if you go to financial services to where we have all the CARES Act, we actually have a list of all the internal order numbers
Mhm.
by school,
Yeah.
so that you use the right internal order number.
Okay, I just haven't pulled up the carry document yet, so that would.
Yeah, so we included it, and we also included in the drop down, we added all the internal order numbers from CARES, because we do anticipate that you may have teachers working who are monthly paid employees.
Yeah.
And then accrual is somebody works in June and they get paid in July. So
Right.
we really wanted to capture, and the way it's written in the notice is that you have to do accruals for all your monthly employees. I'm so happy. So yes, unfortunately, you will have to do an accrual if
Okay.
it's a monthly paid employee.
Okay, that's fine. I just wanted to double check and then put it all in the same sheet.
Yep, same form. We updated the template and we updated the carry application to be able to include your internal order numbers.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Hi, Jackson.
Jackson, bye. Bye, Jackson.
Hey, Cindy, one of these days I want to come out and meet Jackson in person.
Yeah.
I'm in love with Jackson, and on our side I've got a Carson, and I've met Carson, so I got to meet Jackson.
Yeah, go meet everybody. All right, bye.
Bye. Thanks, Cindy. Other questions?
See, they've got it all down pat now.
Yes.
But they've been coming to the meetings. It's all the ones that are coming regularly.
Yes.
It's how do we capture everybody else?
All right. Well, Sandy, would you agree? I think for those on the call, we've given folks an opportunity to ask questions. So I'm going to go ahead and end the CARES Act office hours for today. As always, thank you for coming. Thank you for everything you're doing. Know that we appreciate each of you immensely. And we thank you in advance for when we do send out requests, your immediate responses to those requests. So have a great day. Have a better weekend. It's almost here, guys.
Take it easy, everybody.
See you later, Sandy.
Okay, bye-bye.